I'm back. Finally, I don't know how long it's been since I did a show. Maybe a month at least. More than that, maybe 6 weeks. I don't even remember. But we are back on my channel. So if you have watched me previously on Sports Key to MMA's channel, this is my own channel now. So follow me, subscribe, like, all that. Appreciate it. And what better way to kick things off, so to speak, than with a bumper show? There is so much news to discuss. I don't know how I'm going to get through it all, but I will try. You can see it on the ticker on the bottom. Yes, how many things there are to discuss, and I couldn't even fit them all in there. So be prepared. It's going to be a long show. I'll do my best to get through all of the news. But how are you all doing? Let me know what's up. Drop a like, drop a comment in the chat, drop a question. I will discuss them all, and tell me what you like about the start time. Do you prefer this start time to the previous start time? I used to do these shows in the evening in Asia, or the nighttime, even 10 p.m. Now I'm doing 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. here in Hong Kong. So I believe in America it's a bit later. But story of the fight, what's up? Was just saying on Twitter how much they like the new start time because the morning meetings at work don't get in the way. So maybe America's going to like this a bit more. Maybe Asia's going to hate it. I don't know. But please, even if you're in Asia and it's your morning and you're at work, tune in, put it on in the background, slip on some headphones, ignore your job for an hour or so, and chill with me and discuss all of the latest One Championship news. There is a lot to discuss. Yes. Most of this came from the One Friday Fights 81 press conference yesterday, a virtual press conference, which I sat on for 3.5 hours, I think, from about 3 o'clock here till 5:45, something like that. Maybe it was just 3 hours, yeah, or 6. I can't even remember. It was definitely dark outside the window here by the time things wrapped up. Oh, I forgot to turn on my. I got a ring light here. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. Do you like that extra light or is it too intense? I'm not sure. Seems really intense now. It's like right in my eyes. I should have thought this through. Let me dial it down a bit. Okay. We're going to try that a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know where I was talking about, but yeah, this press conference yesterday was really long, 3 hours or so. And right at the end, it was pretty perfunctory up to the last interview. You had all the fighters coming out and they were just going through the motions. I think they're not really bothered to say anything too exciting because, they're probably cutting weight as well. Weigh-ins are on Thursday morning. They've probably been doing this media stuff for the last few weeks, and they're just saying the same things over and over again, getting asked the same questions. So I understand they were not in too excited of a mood. But yeah, then Chatri came on right at the end and just started dropping bombs, hence the title of this podcast and the thumbnail. He's not literally dropping bombs on anyone. I know he does like to say that bomb. Yeah, there was one funny time he said something about a bomb. We're going to blow up the world. But he's not literally blowing up anyone, guys. It is just dropping truth bombs or news bombs, shall we say. A lot of big news coming out of this press conference yesterday that you can see on the ticker here. You can see in my headlines, and we'll get through them all. The big ones are, yes, Rodtang and Takeru has a date set and a venue. Both guys have signed for that. Chatri also said that Nico Carrillo is next for Superlek. Pretty much confirmed it, but without being official. Also said Tawanchai is a doubt for Atlanta 169. He is injured. I presume that's just my speculation that this is that eye injury he suffered against Smoking Joe in the last match in June. And I remember at the time, yeah. I don't know if you watched the podcast we had with Frank the Tank, my translator buddy. He said that Tawanchai told him in the ring when they were doing in the cage when they're doing the post-fight interview that he couldn't see out of his, I think it was one of the eyes. And I wondered at the time whether it was an orbital injury. And my understanding is orbitals usually take 6 months to heal. So June to November is going to leave him a little bit short. So, yeah, not sure what's going on with that fight. Chatri also said that's why he booked Superbon and Joe Natterwood for this show, because he wasn't certain about that fight. And he also said that, yeah, it makes sense that the winner of this fight will fight Tawanchai. So if Superbon beats Joe Natterwood, then sounds like Superbon's going to slide on into that title fight. What else? Yeah, you can see it in the ticker. I haven't reported all this news yet because I just didn't have time. I had to write 3 stories last night, and then I put up a bunch of videos. So there'll be more stories I'm putting out on my socials and on Twitter, Instagram. But yeah, some more news from that press conference. Chatri, I asked him about Prajanchai Dibella too. He said that is the plan. They're looking at it possibly for Atlanta, but also potentially it could land on a Qatar card or a Japan card, or even Canada, he said, which was intriguing to me. So we'll get into that. Then, yes, pretty much, I think I've summed it all up. He also said some other fun things. I'll get into it all. It's less newsy, but still interesting, talking about Malykhin would beat Francis Ngannou and John Jones. Also, yes, this little news that just broke while I was sleeping. Small matter. Reinier de Ridder has gone to UFC. I had heard this from Combat Sports Today, my guy, Phil. And that was a few weeks ago. And I didn't hear any follow-up or anything. But yeah, Phil called it, and it came true. De Ridder has signed with the UFC. He's going to compete in middleweight. All the big UFC outlets are covering it. MMA Junkie, De Ridder himself confirmed it. So I don't know where that leaves One and De Ridder. Whether there's still a contract situation there, whether he's been released. He did go and fight in UAE Warriors in July. And yeah, everyone wondered what the situation was. I don't know. I don't have an update. I would have asked Chatri yesterday if this news had happened before then. So I'll try and ask him in Bangkok. I'll be flying to Bangkok tomorrow morning for One Friday Fights 81. Yes, which is also something we'll discuss a little bit on the show. I did a preview with Story of the Fight guys, Will and Mira, on Monday. So I'm going to try and not do an in-depth preview here because you can just go watch that show. We had a good chat there for an hour and a half. So, but I'll try and touch on it a little bit. But yeah, the big things still, weigh-ins are tomorrow. I'm going to try and get there. I will be landing, about 10 a.m. And weigh-ins are a couple hours later. So I'm going to try and rush over to Lumpini Stadium if they let me in. I might just be standing outside waving at people who kind of don't respond to me, army guys with machine guns and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to risk my life to get the scoops for you about the weigh-ins for Friday Fights 81. But yes, that is, in a nutshell, that is everything. I'm sure I've forgotten a couple of things. But yeah, there's so much big news to talk about. And yeah, a few more details on Russell Crowe film. I know you're all desperate to hear that. And yeah, some interesting tidbits about that in terms of that they're going to be filming that at Impact Arena in January. So as I've reported before, the monthly quarterly tempo cards, such as this week's one, will now all be at Impact Arena, it sounds like. But Chatri even suggested they could hold more events at Impact, so there could be a big one every month. And I think this is all tied into, including the film, the Russell Crowe film, it's tied into, Chatri plans with Thailand to really push Muay Thai as soft power to the world, to you know what I mean. You saw in June when I was there for the Impact show, Chatri was on stage with Paitong Tansinawatra, who is now the Prime Minister of Thailand. No one probably could have seen these events unfolding, but yes, she, through a series of freak events and prime ministers being kicked out and disqualified and others not being acceptable choices, the leader of the Pheu Thai party, is now in charge of Thailand, and Chatri and One Championship are well in there with her. So yeah, to me it sounds like they have got a good thing going on, and they're going to be getting. Sorry, I just had to change my Wi-Fi. Yes, I hope that's better now. Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand. One is pushing Muay Thai to the world with this film, and these tentpole shows are part of that, and putting big shows on at bigger stadiums is all hand in hand as well. So yeah, a lot to get into. Great to see so many people watching and commenting. Sorry, I'm gonna try and respond to some comments now. I've been waffling on for 10 minutes there. What's up? Or Inanak says, I called Carrillo versus Superlek. Yeah, it's I guess it was an obvious option, but I wasn't sure whether one would go for it so quickly, whether they would want to protect Superlek. Obviously, Nico Carrillo is a big threat, isn't he? And Chatri pretty much said that. I'll discuss Chatri's comments on that. Start time's better for me, says Story to Fight. I'm not driving to work right now like I usually am. Yes, you're not risking your life by typing, hopefully, anymore. So appreciate that. The light is fine either way. I like the basement stalker vibe, says Orinak. Yeah. Well, I'll try this out for now. I feel like I look a little bit orange or something. Some might say that's an improvement. Tetsuya, what's up? Thank you for the compliment. And I'm really enjoying Tetsuya's tweets, actually. So go and find Tetsuya on Twitter. Been throwing out some nice tidbits. I think Tetsuya's username on there is @edgelordcamel and has a user pic of our Lord and Savior Boucher Ketchup with the One Championship title. But yeah, putting out some interesting things, such as Rodtang was hanging out with the King's son yesterday. I'm gonna just show it on screen quickly. Yes, if you like interesting One Championship tidbits from Thai social media, but you don't speak Thai or you don't follow all these pages that report these things, Tetsuya picks through Thai socials and finds these nuggets. Tetsuya was the one who actually found that the tempos were going to go to Impact, the quarterly ones. So I stole that off Tetsuya. So well worth a follow on here. Definitely. I mean, I'm presuming this is the same person. Sorry if I've got it wrong. I've just plugged some randomer, but yeah, there it is. Muay Thai one day. Hello, what's up? Friday, go to Thailand at One Lumpini. Yes, I'll be there too. I'll see you there. I will, yes, like I said, land tomorrow about 10 a.m. I'm flying super early, 8 a.m., which I'm not too happy about. But needs must when you have to get there early for some weigh-in action. I'll probably not even get into the weigh-ins anyway. But yeah, Chatri, been listening to you, LOL. What did I say? I don't know. Martin Nguyen, my guy, here he is. Good to see you again, my man. When are you coming back? I want to see you fight again. We were talking a little bit, Martin and I, about his possible return. I know he and Shamil Gasanov are pushing to fight each other in Atlanta in November, or possibly it could now be December. Who knows if Qatar is back on the table? Martin, would you like to fight in Qatar or Japan again, or is it got to be Atlanta? I guess Japan's a bit closer to you in Australia, but Martin does his training camps in America, so Atlanta would be fine, I'm sure. Winner of Joe and Superbond taking Tawanchai. Yes, that is the plan. It sounds like story of the fight. Jake Foley, what's up? I met Jake in Denver. Jake also works for Sportskeeda. He's a lovely guy. I met him and his wife, I think it was, and yeah, right after the show in the hotel lobby, and I think we all walked around the corner to a establishment called Tarantula, where a few staff and media unwound after a long week. So yeah, great to meet Jake. Do you think de Ridder will have trouble? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he's basically been competing at 205 in one, because one's divisions are all on one up, aren't they? And I don't think he ever really cut weight though for 205, to be honest. And especially that light heavyweight fight with Malykhin, he was underweight, but pretty badly, and he was just we were eating. There was a press conference in Manila, and after the press conference, they had all this food out in the spread. I was with Tom Taylor, my old colleague, just chatting to de Ridder, and he's just smashing some hot dogs and stuff, saying, "I got to put on some weight." So, yeah, if I don't think he'll have trouble. No, I'm sure he'll do it fine. Yeah, I'd be interested to see whether this depletes his strength at all, because his whole game is based around pretty much just getting hold of a guy, dragging him down to the floor and choking him out. If he's unable to do that, like we saw with Malykhin in the title fights, basically Malykhin just stood there, he couldn't get him down, and then he is trapped in the ring with a dangerous bear who's not going to stop punching him. So yeah, if these guys in UFC middleweight division can stop de Ridder's takedowns, I'd be interested to see how he can do on the feet. He's no slouch. We saw his improvements in the second Malykhin fight too. Does train with some very serious guys, Musasi, and the Dutch guys love their kickboxing. So I'm very interested to see how he does. Middleweight is an interesting division in UFC. I think, yeah, the guys at the top have styles, though, that could cause him trouble. What do you guys think? We can discuss that a little more in a bit. That's a cool development. Hopefully it leads to more global promotion. I don't know what that's in reference to, guys. Sorry. Thanks for the shout out, Tetsuya. Yeah, no problem. Seriously, I've been loving the tweets. I'm learning all the stuff I had no idea about, so keep it coming. Fantastic profile picture with ketchup, exactly. Sean James, what's up? This is a good time. I'm usually at work or home at this time. Okay. Yeah, we'll try the mornings. Mornings is cool for me because I'm usually really tired when I do these at 10 p.m. And then I'm so wired after chatting for 2 hours, hour and a half, that I can't fall asleep. Yeah. And it tends to become a chore. You sometimes skip, or life gets in the way if you have dinner plans or whatever. So morning is cool. Wake up, get it out. I'm happy to do a bunch of these if people want to watch. And I just love to talk about it anyway, So let's have some fun. Martin is back. The itch is real. I can't wait to compete again. I can't wait to see Martin compete again. Yeah. Some interesting stuff with Martin's last opponent, Gary Tonon. I haven't really covered it because it broke while I was in Denver, but Gary seemed to put out a statement on Twitter suggesting, or not suggesting, it seems pretty unhappy he wasn't getting fights. Deleted the post eventually, but seemed to say he was willing to reveal all to media, suggested they contact him. I don't know what happened. I'm sure Gary is frustrated. He beat Martin in January, was it? Yeah, in Japan, seemingly earning himself a title shot, but they haven't booked that yet. We're now in September, nearly October, I can see Gary's frustrations. I can see Martin's frustrations. Both guys want to get back. As Martin says, the itch is real. I think, though, good times are around the corner for MMA. We've seen that Buchecha got booked, Soldic got booked. There's a lot of MMA guys on the Atlanta card. I think all signs point to one getting some reinvestment. I think that was the holdup with the MMA, because a lot of the MMA guys are on big purses, and one has been trying to get a reinvestment from Qatar for a while now. I think it was the summer it was supposed to happen, but it's gone a bit quiet. And I think from what I hear, what I know, one will be going to Qatar in December 13th, I think is the date penciled in. And I think Soldic is booked for that card. Buchecha is on Atlanta. And Soldic is on a very big purse, something like $750,000, I think. And Buchecha is something like $500,000, I think. So this is, I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, these guys getting booked again suggests one has got a lot of money to throw around again now. Things seem to be a little tighter the last couple of years. So that is good news for all involved. I'm sure the MMA guys will all be very happy, and the girls. So I'm happy to see one's big name MMA stars come back into the fold. It adds something extra. It's what the company was built upon. Obviously, things have been moving in a new direction with Muay Thai the last 2 years or so, but I still want to see the MMA back in action. I'm glad things are coming back, and reinvestment means more stadium shows. So if you like Denver 168, I did. I had a great time. I think it just looks and feels so much bigger. Love Lumpini, but you can't compete with that big stage, the lighting, the crowd. And we're going to see it again in a month or so in Atlanta, 6 weeks away. And yeah, it sounds like Qatar, Doha again, December. And then Chatri said yesterday, Rodtang and Takeru already signed to fight. You got to imagine that's Japan, and that's probably early next year. I would suggest January again. And then, yeah, it looks like stadiums are back on the menu. Good stuff. Do you see Anatoly moving to UFC? Max, what's up, Max? No, Anatoly is a lifer, I think, in one championship. He gets a very good purse as well. I think 500K, something like that, I heard. And he gets big bonuses. You know, he's had a double bonus, I think, twice, maybe once. He usually gets 50K at least for a knockout. He's one of Chatri's favorites. You know, he gets all the perks and the special treatments. He's been getting booked, even though, you know, not many MMA fighters have been getting fights in the last 2 years. He has, you know, steadily had fights. I think there's a fun stat, you know, that there've only been X amount of MMA title defenses in the last 2 years, and I think Malykhin's had half of them, you know. So he's definitely a star, and if you would have heard the way Chatri talked about him, I'll be putting a story out on it later on my socials and things like that, but he was raving yesterday on the press conference about how great Malykhin is. He always does. Someone asked him, do you think he could beat Francis Ngannou or John Jones? And Chatri emphatically said, yes, he can. I think he's the best heavyweight on the planet. Listed a bunch of reasons why. So I'll be reporting those comments later today. But yes, I don't see him moving to UFC. I just think he's going to get the same or more money here in one than he would get there. Here he can still live in Thailand, which by all accounts I think he and his family love. It's it's cheap, obviously, and it's fun. It's great training out there. He's I think he's still knocking around at Tiger Muay Thai. His coach John Boy Hutchinson is Tiger. Has a lot of Russian buddies out there. I think he started his own gym next door to Tiger recently, but it went under, or something happened there. I think it didn't go down too well with Tiger. Anatoly stealing all the Russians. But yeah, I think he's very happy, settled in Asia and in one championship, and he gets everything he wants. Chatri loves him, looks after him. I don't think he needs to go UFC to prove anything to anyone. Yeah, that's it. 185 division UFC isn't super deep. Story of the fight says, yeah, I think de Ridder could make a splash there. I wonder, is they're gonna throw him in too high too quickly, or what? Maybe I'd like to see a top 15, top 10 opponent, maybe not a top 5 straight away. Let him get his feet wet first. Inanek says, do you interview the fighters at the Friday Fights events? I haven't really ever covered Friday Fights other than these tentpole shows. So I will do some interviews, hopefully before and definitely after this Friday's event. Normally, I don't cover them because I'm usually either in Hong Kong, or if I'm there in Bangkok, I've got the Saturday morning show the next day, which was up until now like my only job I was tasked with covering. But now I am going to be covering more Friday shows. So if I'm in Bangkok for a fight night Saturday show, I will be doing some stuff on the Friday nights too. And yeah, I'll be trying to do some remote interviews as well going forward for Friday shows before and after. This is just the first month I've started with Bangkok Post, so kind of finding my feet as well. Like de Ridder is going to be doing UFC, I'm getting my feet wet, just figuring out the processes. And yeah, the first month's going to be a little slow, but we'll pick things up next month. I was also in New York for 10 days right after Denver, so I was kind of just I couldn't really do too much there. I was just filing some stories, but I'm back in Hong Kong now. Overhauled my home office, as you can see. Changing the setup a bit, throwing myself in. Let's go. Is it not too late? Chummy Boy says, for one, MMA being put on ice sometime. It could be late. Yes. I hope not. I think you're starting to see the cracks are really opening, right? People are complaining openly on social media. This karate combat guy, President Awesome, is taking pot shots at one, trying to get MMA fighters from one to shit on them. Like Marat Gafarov, I think it was, said some stuff yesterday I was reading. It was pretty intense, saying he was mistreated by one and this and that. Former champ, I think Martin. I think Martin, our guy Martin, has had a couple fights with him. I think Martin took the belt off him back in the day. Yeah, he's not happy. And Vitaly Bigdash, we know, another former champion, middleweight. He's not happy. Sounds like he's going to be dropping some bombs on one. I think, yeah, it's pretty important one now starts to make these guys and girls happy again, because they all have lives. They all have careers. They've got to pay bills. They've got to look after families. They got a short window as well, being able to compete. And if they're in contracts with one and they can't fight, that's going to frustrate them. And then there's only so long they can not get pissed off. And I think, yeah, you probably saw that with de Ridder. Right? That's why he's left. He felt he wasn't getting enough fights, and you've seen Big Dash is unhappy. You've seen some others were starting to complain. Yeah, Buchecha said some stuff, but he's now got to fight. I think it's very important one starts to put these MMA guys back in action. Otherwise, things could snowball. So as I was saying earlier, it sounds like that is happening now. You see it with Buchecha and Soldic getting booked, and they are two of the biggest purses in the company, I think, now. Especially the DJ's retired. DJ was on $1 million or something like that. I've lost my way a bit. Sorry, I'm just going through comments. What happened to one on SCMP? Tom asked, I'm no longer working with them. Yeah, they have their own other new team now. So I'm on. You can find me here on my channel. I also do some stuff on Sportskeeda MMA, and Bangkok Post is my new job. So I'm no longer there. Theo Chua says, any news on Juan's return to Philippines? I don't know. I think it makes sense for next year, but the only real draw they have at the moment is Denise Zamboanga, because I think Joshua Pasio is on the shelf for another 6 months at least, maybe more, 9 months with an ACL surgery. I think that's why they're keen to get an interim belt on Denise Zamboanga. That's another bit of news we could talk about, I guess, is she was having a bit of back and forth on social media with Ham So-hee the other day, saying Ham was angry that she was not included in plans for an interim title fight in atomweight. We know with Stamp Fairtex injured, one was going to do Denise versus Aliona Rasahina next week in Fight Night 25, Bangkok. And Ham said, well, hold on a minute. I'm number one ranked in the division. I've beaten Denise twice in one championship. I've also beaten Aliona Rasahina outside of one, and I think it was in Road FC. Why am I not in this fight? And I tend to agree with her. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Denise, though, wasn't happy and said it's time for Ham to let other people get their chance and have a bit of the spotlight in division. She said Ham already had her chance to fight for the title and she lost her Stamp. So let me do it. So I don't know where people stand on that debate, but yeah, I would think if Denise eventually does fight Aliona, that fight fell through and is not on the card next week. If that does happen, then I think Denise with an interim belt, let's say she beats Aliona, you can do a title defense in Manila. You can headline a card with that. I think they're not going to go back to Manila unless they have a champion they can headline a card with, right? Like Joshua Pasio. Obviously, when Pasio's fit, you got the trilogy with Brooks, who is now the interim champion. So that's an easy one to make. So I would suggest it might be mid 2025 back to the Philippines. I'm just not sure they can go there without Pasio or Zamboanga in a headline spot with a belt, because a lot of the Team Lakai guys have all sort of they've all left Team Lakai and formed their own gym, Lions Nation, but they're, let's say, past their prime. Yeah, Edward Flying, Kevin Bellingon, those guys, former champions in one, obviously. Jay Hay, I think Jay Hay stayed at Team Lakai though. Eustachio, yeah, all past their primes, you would say. Danny Kingad is with Lions Nation now, I think, but he's fighting Adriano Moraes in Atlanta. Who wins that one, he's in a very good position to possibly get a title shot. That belt is now vacant. I wonder whether maybe they're going to make that fight for the vacant title. It wouldn't be outrageous if they did, although I'm sure some guys would be unhappy with that, such as Reese McLaren. I think they should do another Flyweight Grand Prix, because that is probably one of the few Grand Prix one has done in recent memory that hasn't had fallen apart or had some controversial things happen. I think that Grand Prix held up pretty well, and it was a great way to introduce Demetrius Johnson. In 2019, 2020, DJ kind of banged out 3 fights in the space of 6 months, I think it was, or yeah, something like that. He debuted in, no, that's not true. Is it? I'm thinking about it. He debuted in March 2019, beat Yuya Wakamatsu. Then he fought in Manila, I think, beat Tetsumitsu Wada in the semifinals. Then he beat Danny Kingad in Tokyo, in October in the final. So that was 3 fights. Yeah, and it was a very quick time frame. I really enjoyed that tournament. The lightweight one they had as well to introduce Eddie Alvarez just fell apart completely. Eddie lost in the first round, got knocked out, and then he came back in the semis, beat Edward Flying, and then he pulled out the final injured. So Christian Lee ended up going into the tournament. He was the champion at the time. He ended up going to the tournament to fight Daggy in the final. for the right to face himself. Yeah, that one didn't go too well, but I would like to see the Flyweight Grand Prix next year. I think that'd be really fun. You've got a killer division. There's one of the one's best MMA divisions, I think. We'll try and bring it on screen now. Yeah, let's share that. Yeah, flyweight MMA vacant, as you can see. DJ retiring last month or this month in Denver a few weeks ago. So Adriano Moraes, Yuya Wakamatsu, Danny Kingat, Reese McLaren, Hu Yong. There's other guys there as well who you could slide in for sure. I think you could find 8 flyweights in one pretty easily. Put on a really good tournament. Who else could they add in? Am I thinking, is it Jay Wei could come into there? I'm trying to find. There it is. Wikipedia has a nice list. Good old Wikipedia of every weight division in one and all the fighters in it. There is, what are we? Flyweight. Yeah. Moraes, McLaren, Danny Kingat, Wakamatsu, Tatsumitsu Wada, obviously. Kairat Akhmetov, of course, yes. He beat Reese and then popped for drugs, failed a drug test. Echo Ronnie, my old friend there. Jay Wei, Hu Yong, Woo Sung Hoon, Banma Duoji, who is back next week, I think, Banma. Anyway, tell me what you think about that. Do you want a Grand Prix, yay or nay? Chingiz Alazov, Max would love to see Chingiz fight again. Hope he's not officially retiring from one to focus full time on his newly formed promotion, which has a strange name, doesn't it? Really think he could have spent a bit more time coming up with the name. What is it called? AMC SUF Absolute Men's Championship Stand-Up Fight. There it is. It's a mouthful for sure. Yeah, I'd love to see Chingiz back. I just don't know what's going on. There was a bit of hubbub with this. Sounded like one was going to do a press conference. They officially said they were going to do a press conference a few days before the Denver show, and then they canceled it. And I don't know what's going on. Try and get some clarity. I was going to ask Chatri yesterday, but I didn't get enough time on the mic. A lot of journalists were in there. Smitty, is Friday Fights 81 the most stacked card of the year? You could say it is, yeah. I think funny because there's no title fight, but it is a really good card still. I think if you like MMA, if you like Muay Thai and kickboxing, it's a great card. If you like your MMA and your grappling, you're not really getting served much. It's all striking here. So I would say I can't think off the top of my head a better card, to be honest. Yeah, I think you're right. Let me know what you guys think. Leader of Karate Combat is the worst type of guy in martial arts. Story of the fight. Yes, President Awesome. He's not my cup of tea, but yeah, seems to be stirring up some stuff. He says he's declaring war on one championship. Wants to take over Singapore. I don't know why. They did a show at this crypto festival thing. It didn't seem to cause much of a splash. But I don't think one is even bothered with Singapore anymore. To be honest, I think one's based in Singapore is only name and image, right? It's kind of to be associated with a big financial hub. But for all intents and purposes, one is based in Bangkok now, there's no physical building. I think they'll stay in Singapore just for the kudos that brings and the status. But basically, they're a Thai out organization now, and I think that's the way that it should be. Consolidate your power in a country that is mad about your product, which has a huge culture and history of combat sports, namely Muay Thai, and build out from there. They've got the government on side. Yeah, they've got the fans on side. You go to Singapore, I don't think many people in Singapore really care about combat sports, in general. If you ask 10 people on the street, they probably don't know what you're talking about. They're not fight mad, are they? they'll turn up for things like the Grand Prix the other day, but I think as a fight mad country, city, whatever you want to call it, it's not on the map as Thailand is. Right. Clump says, do you think Prajanchai and Rodtang will happen since he talked about moving up, but Chatri said Prajanchai and DeBella is more favorable, or certainly news on Sage Northcutt? I doubt Prajanchai and Rodtang would happen. Could do. But I think Prajanchai is going to stay at straw weight, 125. I'm not really into all these people having 2 divisions and 4 belts. It's fine if you want to do the 2 sport thing. Go ahead and have your MMA belt or your Muay Thai belt, your kickboxing belt in the same division. I don't mind, because you can sort of defend both of those. You're not holding up the division too much, so to speak. But if you've got 2 belts in one division, then you go up to another one and get another belt. Like Superlek is now going to have to really cover so much ground. He's going to have to stay at a certain weight, so he's able to. I don't think he'll ever be able to build properly into a bantamweight frame if he's going to still fight at flyweight, which could put him at a disadvantage when he does fight Nico Carrillo and guys like that, and maybe Nabati eventually. But you saw what he did to Haggerty, who's a lot bigger than him. I don't think he'll be scared. And Sage Northcutt, I do want to see Prajanchai DeBella. Just think it makes sense. It'd be stupid for Prajanchai to go up now, and I think he needs to put that rivalry to bed if he wants to move up first. I think the way that fight went, a lot of people maybe think DeBella won and they want to see the rematch. I think just do the rematch first, and then if you beat DeBella again, go up and see if you can get another belt. Sage Northcutt, no news. Yeah, he's in jail, Chatri jail. As they say, he's on the naughty list. I don't think he'll be coming out. But stranger things have happened. Panpayak is out now. Panpayak is free. Panpayak, we never thought we'd see him again. Some people have come back from the brink before, so it could happen if Sage and One can have some talks, but I don't know if Sage and his crew are willing to talk. Everything went pear-shaped in Japan, obviously, in January. So we'll see. Thoughts on Tawanchai injury, Superlek and Nico, Nong-O's dangerous Russian opponent. Yeah, Tawanchai's injury, that's interesting to me, because if it is an orbital injury, he's probably not going to be ready for November. And if he's not on that Atlanta card, that's a big blow. I don't know what you do. Maybe you can do an interim belt, or I think you got to keep Joe on that card because of the hometown thing. It just depends on who wins on Friday at Superbond and Joe Natterwood. And if they're injured, and if one of them is fine and can compete in November, I think maybe put them in there, try and find an opponent for an interim belt if Tawanchai is injured. I don't know. There are a lot of belts now, and Superbond is already an interim kickboxing champion. It's a messy situation. I think we have to see how Tawanchai recovers, whether he is too badly injured. I don't know if Chatri's just playing this up as a kind of promotional thing, get some drama. Who knows? Superlek and Nico. Yeah, I like that fight. I think Nico Carrillo has had to patiently wait, shall we say, while Haggerty defended his belt against Lobo. Even though Nico was ranked number 1, Haggerty defended his belt against Lobo, who was below Nico Carrillo, after Nico beat Nong-O. Then he's had to wait while Superlek and Haggerty were matched up, and he would probably still have a case to be pissed off about that fight being made before he got his chance. But he's not been too outspoken. He's bided his time. I think you have to give him a shot next. So realistically, maybe him and Superlek can do something in by the end of the year. Obviously, Superlek took no damage against Haggerty. Maybe December in Qatar. could be good. But, you want to fight Superlek in Thailand again soon, I think. And the good thing with Superlek, yeah, he's got so many options. He's got belts, 2 belts in 2 divisions, and he's got in Muay Thai he's essentially like a interim champion, without a belt. I think because I don't think they're going to rush to do him and Rodtang rematch in Muay Thai. He just sort of defends that number 1 spot. I would try and get Superlek an interim title there eventually, but make it official. But he's got guys in kickboxing as well. And Mahmoudi is knocking on the door. They were meant to fight in January this year. Plenty of options. He could go after Haggerty's kickboxing belt as well, bantamweight. The Rodtang 2 rematch Chatri mentioned yesterday. Whether that's kickboxing or Muay Thai, who knows? I think they were keen on that for Qatar last year, so maybe this time they'll do that in Qatar. I think Chatri's going to really want to, put on some spectacular Muay Thai in Qatar this time because the MMA fell a bit flat in Qatar, and I think they miscalculated and thought the Qatar crowd would only really respond to MMA. But from me being there, I kind of felt that they responded better to the striking bouts, the Muay Thai, and I think there was a kickboxing on there as well. The MMA fights were kind of bad. They felt there was some we not happen with the red cards for Bular and yellow cards galore in Tan Lee and Tenkai. Yeah, wasn't the best sometimes. And then red card for Jared Brooks. It was a disaster, to be honest. Yeah, you couldn't predict that. It's not something that you can really prepare for when that happens. So I'm sure one thought they're going to get these excellent MMA fights, but everything went wrong that could have gone wrong. Almost everything. Inanak. Oh, Nong-O and Nabati. Yeah. I think this guy's going to come to take Nong-O's head off, really, and he might well do it. I just think Nong-O is outsized against these bigger, like Western bantamweights, these foreigners, shall we say, from Europe or America and what have you. Mainly Europe, isn't it? Haggerty, Nabati, and Carrillo. Yeah, I think Nong-O probably beats most other guys in that division. He's gonna always be like 4th or 5th in there. I just don't think he could beat Haggerty, Carrillo. We'll see if he can beat Nabati. But, I don't think he beats Superlek either. But I don't think they would ever fight. So, sorry, dog's barking. Prajanchai is already outsized at 125. Inanak says Rodtang fight wouldn't make sense unless Rodtang went down. Yeah. I don't want to see that, to be honest. There are other fights I want to see Prajanchai do and Rodtang before that. Iron Vic, we love Stamp. Yeah, some sad times for the Stamp Simp army. She is officially engaged to her fiance Anthony Duong, I think his name is. I think he lives in America, or he used to live in America. Sorry about this. And then he went over to Thailand to do a few months training out there. I guess he was at Fairtex. Met Stamp. They fell in love, and here we are. But yes, some very sad simps, I'm sure. But congrats to Stamp and Anthony. Yeah, all right. I'm trying to get through these comments. Sorry. A lot of stuff here. Smitty says, I'd love to see a Grand Prix a tournament. Winner takes on the champion division. Yeah, we do love a good Grand Prix. Chatri talked about a Grand Prix for featherweight kickboxing, says Clump a few months ago when nothing happened. Yeah, this has gone quiet, hasn't it? As did the openweight Muay Thai Grand Prix. Yeah, I would only really mention the Grand Prix if you're going to deliver on it and you have it booked. I'm sure they possibly did have plans in place. I think the plan was to do a first round of this featherweight Grand Prix literally in a couple of days, because this card that we're seeing, Friday Fights 81, was meant to be in Japan. I believe is the case. It was going to be Rodtang and Takeru kickboxing. It was going to be a kickboxing love affair for Japan. Fittingly, you're going to have 4 opening matches of this tournament, but for whatever reason, that card fell through, and now Takeru is fighting in Lumpini Stadium, and Hiroki Akimoto is fighting in Lumpini Stadium against Ilias Enahachi, which is a great fight on Friday. All right. It's a great card, Vic says. I think this is about Friday Fights 81. Don't care about watching jiu-jitsu, not much of a spectator sport. Yeah, for me, the jiu-jitsu is cool. It's not for Lumpini Stadium, it's not for Friday Fights. For me, the jiu-jitsu works the best in America, and that's no surprise, right? Even the grappling exchanges in the MMA fights in Denver were getting these huge cheers from the crowd, and they really respect and appreciate the grappling. And I think one needs to get to a place where they're running a monthly card in the US, and then you can put all your big jiu-jitsu matches on those cards, your headliners, your title defenses. Just don't think it really works in Asia. And I think they should have some little in-house tournaments, like a small Lumpini Friday Fight style thing for their own jiu-jitsu, like run a monthly card out of a smaller space in America, hold some tournaments, put it on YouTube, grow some rankings for the grappling, and get people interested in the names and the places and the people. Martin Nguyen. Just seen the featherweight ranking. Have a look and see who's missing. Yes. Gary Tonon has been removed from the featherweight ranking, I believe. I'll just confirm on the screen. Yeah. He's no longer there. It is Tankai, Tan Lee, Ilya Freemanov, Martin Nguyen, Shamil Gasanov, and Akbar Abdullayev. Gary Tonon is out. Who came in? Did Akbar come in? I would have had Akbar in there anyway. He's a scary dude. But yeah, Gary's out. That's a good division still, though. I hope they figure it out with Gary, because that's another guy who the UFC, I'm sure, would be all over bringing in. He's already got a rep in the USA, obviously associated with John Danaher. And Chatri is very tight with John Danaher, I think. So I think that's how the post got deleted so quickly. I think Chatri would have messaged John, perhaps. I'm just speculating. But yeah, I saw Chatri personally dropped John Danaher off at the airport one time when I was out in Bangkok, and I think Gary fought Shamil Gasanov, beat him. Submitted Gasanov last year. I think it was last summer. Yeah, I was at the airport, and Chatri bumped into Chatri and Danaher. It was pretty surreal. Shook Danaher's hand. Yeah, what a moment. Yeah, well, I have no idea who I am, but I know who he is. Yeah, and he is a legend for sure. So I'm sure Chatri will want to patch that up. I won't want to lose Gary Tonon to the UFC, because I think Gary could definitely pop up there if this doesn't work out with one. Don't worry, Martin. Iron Vic says the rankings are just a promotional tool and are not accurate. Yeah, this I often submit my rankings, and then it just doesn't ever. None of what I suggest ever gets made. It's not. As I said I think it was on the Story of the Fight podcast on Monday with the boys, Will and Miro. Yeah, nothing I ever suggest is reflected in the official rankings, but it's kind of meant to be 50-50 with the media and in the promotion. But when you're the promotion, I guess you don't want to be at the whim of some silly, stupid media types like me dictating your matchmaking. So they have to retain control over it. Yes. They should do Prajanchai versus Stephen Irvine. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Iron Vic. Did Stevie get a contract on his last win? I'm sure it's not far away if he didn't. Thoughts on De Ridder getting signed to UFC, Teddy? Yeah, I touched on it briefly already a bit earlier, but I'm, or did I? I think I mentioned it. I'm not sure I talked about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I'm sad and I'm happy in equal measure. I'm happy for De Ridder because I'm not sure if everyone knows him, but I kind of know him on a personal-ish level to an extent. I've always kind of chatted with him every fight week. Whenever we get the chance, and we bump in, we always have a good chat, and we kind of message every now and then a little bit. And followed his career with great excitement in one. And even though he took down the golden boy Ongla and Sang, he still had to show him infinite respect. What he did was incredible, and he was just making guys look average. And then, I think he bit off a bit more than he could chew. He admitted that with Malykhin. But to be fair to him, he didn't call out Malykhin originally. He called out Brandon Vera, when Vera was the heavyweight champion, I think, and Bular, I think De Ridder would have beaten both of those guys and been a 3-division champion. He would have beaten Malykhin to the punch there. Just so happened for De Ridder that Malykhin came along and ruined those plans, because Malykhin's a freak of nature. And in hindsight, yeah, I never would have taken that fight. But you have to, I guess. If you're the light heavyweight champion, you got to defend that belt. If in extra hindsight, if I'm one, I never would have booked Malykhin to go down to middleweight against De Ridder. I just think it was silly. All it does is, yeah, it's a cool thing to have someone with 3 belts, but realistically, yeah, that cut took a lot out of Malykhin, and you saw De Ridder dropped him, and I don't think Malykhin's going to do that cut again anytime soon. How's he going to? He's already ballooned back up to 260 kilos or something mad. How's he ever going to go defend heavyweight and middleweight at the same time? I think, yeah, they should never have done that fight. They should have kept that belt on De Ridder and given him Shamil Erdogan, who we just saw beat Ongla and Sang. I think keep De Ridder happy. And now look what happens. He's unhappy. He's left. He was already not getting fights. I think he was happy to stay in one forever. He just wanted to fight. He's in his prime. He wants to prove he's still got it after those defeats to Malykhin. Yeah, so I'm sad he's gone. I'm sad one couldn't work that out with him. I'm happy for him because, yeah, it's a great opportunity to go and prove the Malykhin thing is just it is what it is, a 1-off, 2-off. Not many guys are going to beat Malykhin. He is very good. And yeah, if he's actually fighting real middleweights in UFC and he can cut without any problems, I think he's going to have success there. As I said earlier, if these guys can stop him taking them down, then he may have some trouble hanging with some of the strikers in the UFC. So I'm excited to see how it goes. And like I said earlier, he's a really nice guy, always had time for me and Tom Taylor, my old colleague when we were at SCMP. And just, yeah, always so generous with everything. And he's a hilarious guy. He's got a really dry humor. I love that. The Dutch are always quite fun. Yeah. Smitty says losing Tawanchai would be a big blow to Atlanta. Any thoughts on a replacement? I don't know. Yeah, it's luckily for them, they have got a ton of title fights already on that show. I can bring it on the screen. You've got a bunch of MMA title fights already. Sorry. There it is. Yeah, Malykhin and Rugrug, Christian Lee, Rasulov, Also got Rodtang and Jacob Smith, but who knows if that's going to happen. Rumors going around in Thailand that Rodtang maybe not going to do that one. Yeah, so I think the card survives if Tawanchai falls off it, but not if you're a Muay Thai fan. And this is what I was saying earlier with Qatar. You know, if I'm one, I wouldn't put all my eggs in the MMA basket, thinking that the US just want to see MMA. Like they responded the loudest that night to the Muay Thai. You know, because why wouldn't they? It's insane. It's just crazy. The fights, one, you know, Muay Thai and Forest gloves is just knockdown after knockdown, knockout after knockout, bonus after bonus. Superlek got the biggest cheer, you know. Rodtang got the biggest cheer last year. They love these big name Thais, don't they? They have an aura about them, and that's translated really well. So, yeah, if I'm one, I'm gonna be scrambling to keep a big name Muay Thai fight together there, whether it's Rodtang and Jacob, or Tawanchai and Joe, or Tawanchai and Superbon, or Joe and someone, or Superbon and someone. I would be scrambling to do that. Okay. Alex Lim, do you think Superlek can beat Nico? I feel Superlek has the skill but might be outsized. Yeah, what did Chatri say about it yesterday? Thought his quotes were pretty accurate. He said, I'm just looking at my laptop here, sorry. Where is it? Jesus. Basically, he was saying, yeah, obviously Nico is, yeah, he goes. I think Superlek's the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. His IQ, his power, his ability to adapt. He's very active, never turns down a fight, accepts every fight we give him, never asks for an easy fight. And he's learned the nutrition side now. He's elevating his sports science, doing the right things, combined with the fact he's only 27. His confidence is sky high. I do think Nico Carrillo is next for Superlek. That's the fight I'd like to see the most. There are a lot of other fights, you know, Superlek and Rodtang too, but I think Nico's earned it. Next, the world wants to see it. Nico is a giant bantamweight. I'm very curious to see how Superlek handles that size and power. I think Superlek is a different level technically, but Nico has the power, the size, and the heart. These are dangerous things. Doesn't matter if somebody's technically better than you. One big bomb by Nico, his right hand or elbow, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to go out. Yeah. So, Alex, yeah, it's kind of Tri's thoughts on it and my thoughts on it. Well, we saw what I thought this is similar to the Haggard fight, and that this is what Superlek's going to do to Haggerty's going to do to Superlek. You know, he's going to outsize him, outmatch him, and out heart him. You know, he's going to have more. And he had the altitude thing that I banged on about forever, and didn't matter in the end. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's the game, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. It's just this. It's interesting. You want to watch it. I think that is the main takeaway. You want to see what happens. There's tangible, intangibles, and tangibles. There's questions. It's like, what happens when this meets that? That is always the best recipe for combat sport, right? That used to be the kind of big thing in MMA, wasn't it? It was what happens when a grappler meets a boxer and yada yada. Now everyone in MMA is just good all around in every area. It's kind of boring, like neutralized it. But Owen says Scotch Coker joining one. Not sure. Yeah, so Scott Coker was at the face-off for 168 in Denver, and then it was kind of surreal seeing him at the back of the room. And he was also at the show. And then my friend, my buddy Julian Murray from Fight House, he asked Chatri about it, and Chatri didn't give too much away. He just said Scott's a friend, and yeah, kind of hinted maybe something will happen between the two of them. Who knows? If they bring Scott Coker in on board in America in some sort of official role, I'm not sure that's a terrible thing. Obviously, he's got a lot of experience. So we'll see. Respect for Martin being on the stream and adding to it. Yes. Well, that's Martin. He's a stand-up guy. He's a great dude. top bloke. And I hope he gets a fight soon. I know Martin wants to fight in Atlanta in the cage against Shamil Gasanov. Shamil's down for it too, but I'm not sure. He said he wasn't sure he could get a visa for America, so we'll see. But I know Martin, yeah, he wants to do the cage. He doesn't want to do the ring. I think Martin feels the ring doesn't help him against these grappling heavy guys. So let's see. Justice for Will in the ranking. Yeah. Is Will's in what's the story about this? I think Will's in the rankings with one as well. Any news on Chinese kickboxer Xu Jianliang? No. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I like this guy when he debuted. I have no idea what's going on with the tank. Yeah, this guy's very cerebral, like super interesting guy. Lost the decision to Akimoto. Came in with a lot of hype about 3 years ago. Yeah, December 2021. At the spectacularly named Winter Warriors event. I think that was the last time one did. It wasn't. It was right at the end of the era of one naming all their cards these silly names like Clash of the Dragons and Fire of the Dragon and Spirit of the Warrior and yeah, these forgettable things. And then they very wisely kind of started calling it numbered events now. But yeah, Winter Warriors was a particularly spectacular one. Yeah, no news on him. Yeah, I him. That was his debut against Akimoto, former champ. But he's very good. I saw many comments from US fans saying one should bring more Muay Thai to the US. Yeah, why not? I think, as we was discussing on Monday on Story of the Fight, MMA is Trojan horse, But I don't think you need the Trojan horse anymore. The Muay Thai is the product now. For one, it's the hot product that people are tuning in for every week, and the one they're shelling over money for tickets in the US, I think. And one has got no other rival in the US who is putting on Muay Thai. Let's be honest, like in terms of a big scale Muay Thai show with the production they have and the level of talent they have no competitors. For MMA, they obviously have UFC. You're never going to beat the UFC at their own game. Then you got the PFL, who also got a lot of money, a lot of reach, a lot of big names. Yeah, you're never going to be the best MMA promotion in the USA, I think. But you can be the best Muay Thai easily. You can be the best striking organization easily. And that's what they've done really well over the last couple of years, is kind of push that home as we are the best. That's the catchphrase, isn't it? Strikers on the planet. And it's hard to disagree sometimes when you look at guys like Superlek, Haggerty. I know he just got knocked out, but let's not dismiss everything else he's done. Rodtang, yeah, Super Bon, Prajanchai, John DeBella, Nico Carrillo. Just take a look at any Friday fights card, and the level is insanely high. I mean, throwaway fights. If you watch a throwaway MMA fight on the UFC or Contender Series, it's pretty sloppy and it's, for me, not very entertaining. I'm sure there are MMA fans who love it, but I'm not going to die on that hill. But I think, yeah, the striking in one is higher level than the UFC, I would say, at the highest level. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it? Superlek for MMA, LOL. Yeah, why not? If you could learn how to stuff a takedown or get back to the fence in a cage, I think Superlek would be very dangerous in MMA. But I don't think he's better off staying in Muay Thai and kickboxing. Maybe doing a mixed rules thing to test the waters there. Could be a good spectacle. Hey Nick, thought I missed this. NG, yeah, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Been chatting on Instagram after Monday's stream. Yeah, Pete. Late to the party, Pete. De Ridder's gone to the UFC. NG, since Nico is such a dangerous fight, what do you think are the chances one will give Superlek a break and let Nico and Haggerty fight it out with the winner getting Superlek? I don't think Nico will want to do the Haggerty fight anymore, despite calling for it forever. Now that Haggerty hasn't got the belt, I don't think Nico is interested in Haggerty. He's interested in the belt, so I think he wants Superlek. Yeah. I don't think you can put off Nico anymore without him becoming enraged. Fun fact, they offered Nico Carrillo John Lineker for Atlanta after his last win over Semipet. And he, I believe he immediately said no, like on the spot. So, but John Lineker, another bit of news, is back in Muay Thai against Alexei Balako, who knocked out Stefan Karodi pretty spectacularly a couple months ago in Bangkok. So that's, yeah, obviously Lineker just beat Ace of 10 Pow in Denver. So very quick turnaround for him. Anyway, Trump says the only time Nico had trouble was when he fought someone his own size, Furkan Karabag, but got lucky in the last 40 seconds. And I don't know if Superlek might be able to stop him. He's definitely capable of it. Yeah, of course he's capable of it. Yeah. Smitty says, I wish they would use the ring instead of the cage for the G. What's the G? Sorry. I prefer the cage, to be honest. There's something about it. I just love it, especially at a big stadium show. Haggerty will rightfully get a rebound fight, I think, Ironvik says. So I'm lining up. I'm supposed to be interviewing Haggerty. We're trying to get a date locked in, I think Monday. So we'll do it. I believe it'll be an exclusive. His first real thoughts after the Superlek loss. So look out for that. Fair enough. And he says, but since one has won, given Nico what he wants. LMAO. Yes, not very often. Yes. Well, I've got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Starting to get really hungry. This is the danger of doing a morning show and you haven't eaten breakfast. What else did I want to discuss? I think we've kind of touched on most of it just through interacting in the comments. But yeah, one thing scrolling across now, Japan and Qatar, Chatri pretty much confirmed those are happening. And Canada, intriguingly, he mentioned, I'll just read this out from the press conference. He said, I asked him, this came from a question I asked him about Prajanchai and DiBella 2, whether they want to do this rematch in Atlanta. I'll be reporting this news later today as well, but I just couldn't have time to do it all last night. It's so busy. Well, here he goes. He says, we definitely want to do Prajanchai and DiBella 2. It may happen in America or somewhere else. Qatar is also potential. Japan too. We have a lot of different events that we haven't announced yet. Big events we will be announcing in the coming weeks. But I am most interested in Prajanchai and DiBella rematch. It was a very close fight, and I think both athletes are world champions in their own right, the best of the best on the planet. And I think the fans really want to see that fight. I don't know yet. We just talked about it. I don't know exactly where it will be, but I think either Qatar, Japan, maybe the US. It's still very much up in the air because, as always, my team and I are juggling a million things right now. We have some big, exciting news coming out soon regarding our events this year and next year. We're already planning 12 months out. We have booked a bunch of different venues in different countries. So let's see what happens. Who knows? Maybe even Canada. So yes, dropping a big bit of news that Canada, one championship in Canada, that was never on the menu before. So that's news to me. I think if you do go to Canada, then you're going to want to have John DiBella possibly against Prajanchai there. DiBella is Canadian, Italian. But depends whether that show is going to be soon. If it's not soon, I don't think DiBella will want to wait too long because he's already kind of itching to fight again. Hasn't fought since June or July, whatever it was. But either way, if you have Canada, that's a great place to put DiBella anyway, whatever the fight is. And Canada has a little bit of growing Muay Thai heritage. It's got some MMA fighters in one, I think, Ben Thailand as well. You've got Dennis Porridge you could put on there. I think it's a good shout, yeah. I know there's some sort of issues with Muay Thai or kickboxing being legalized by whatever the equivalent of the commissions are there. I don't know the full story. DeBella was kind of explaining it to me once on the show. But what do you think? One in Canada, do you like that? Toronto has the UFC attendance record, said Iron Vic, so it would be a great site for a one card. Bular back for Canada, LOL. Yeah, I forgot about Arjan Bular story of the fight. Sure. Yeah. Why not? Why not? I like Arjan. That wasn't the best fight, the last one, but he's a cool dude. Give him a chance. Let's have some redemption for Arjan. But from what I hear, one will never give him a fight again. Shimazu Takuma says, RDR going to UFC. He didn't win against Anatoly Malykhin. He'd get less success right now, to be honest. I don't know. Yeah, I think Malykhin is Malykhin, and he's a heavyweight, and de Ridder is essentially a middleweight. So de Ridder fights guys his own size. He tends to do pretty well against them. So we'll see. We'll see. Post-morning stream meals a glorious story of the fight. Yeah, I'm going to go to town on something here. NG, after his win, I talked to Superlek, and he says he actually does not personally want to fight Rodtang. Yeah, I don't think they do, to be honest. They're obviously buddies. They play football together a lot. They were kind of forced to do that last fight. I don't think they wanted to do it. And it was quite sad, actually. Can you imagine it's like being forced to fight your brother or something? You just wouldn't want to do it. And then having to punch them in the face. It was a very emotional night, that. So I think they will eventually get back to it. I'd be probably more... I think it'll be the kickboxing belt they do. That was the original plan. I think they'll find a way. Let's say Rodtang beats Takeru. Well, I'm not sure he would. You could easily do Rodtang versus Superlek 2 in kickboxing then. If Takeru beats Rodtang, do you go back to Takeru and Superlek? I'm not sure. But there's a nice triangle there of those three guys. Does Takeru go to Muay Thai and fight either of them in Muay Thai? Probably not. Without at least a tune-up or two. But Takeru does want to fight in Muay Thai. But yes, a lot of comments here. Sorry. Twitter crew, Silverwolf. What's up, Silverwolf? Good to see you. The crew is assembling. Malykhin lost weight twice to beat him. He schooled him. Is this about de Ridder? Yeah. Bular, he got whacked. What's he gonna do? Checking out again? He's not the champ. Yeah, it was sarcasm about Bular. Shimazu says, I still believe Rodtang won that fight with Superlek. I mean, I thought Superlek won pretty convincingly. The knockdown was the knockdown, whether it was spurious or not, it still counts. I think a lot of people said Rodtang won because they're kind of looking at it through the eyes of MMA scoring, and there are a lot of US-based fans who tuned in for that fight or who normally only watch the UFC. But if you look at Muay Thai rule set and One's rule set and the way they score fights, I think Superlek won. Definitely won. If it had gone 5 rounds, who knows? Because I think Superlek was starting to tire out a bit. He had a pretty rough weight cut by the sound of it. Rodtang was coming into it a bit more at the end. So yeah, if they rematch, definitely it's got to be 5 rounds, I think. Yeah, I think I've touched on everything then. What else? Anything? I'm just looking through the notes from the press conference yesterday. Fun tidbit. Chatri saying Anthony Malykhin would beat Francis Ngannou and John Jones. I'll be putting that story out as well later. There's Malykhin is for sure the best heavyweight on the planet by far. other organizations, the heavyweight divisions are not as strong. So I think Anatoly is the best for sure. For Anatoly to fight Francis, Francis has very dangerous power, but no ground game. He's very limited in jiu-jitsu. He's a blue belt. Anatoly is a monster on the ground. He's a killer, so I would see Anatoly would do a quick double shot, take it down to the ground very fast, and the fight would be over very quickly. John Jones would be a tougher fight, but Anatoly is faster than John. John is longer. Anatoly has better wrestling and more one-punch knockout power, but that would be a very fun fight. I think John Jones says he's going to retire after this fight, so he's at the end of his career. Anatoly's only getting started, very fresh. Even though he's like 36. He's finished everybody in front of him. Well, he can obviously go longer as a heavyweight. I think he would beat both of these heavyweights quite easily. So Chatri kind of indirectly taking another pot shot or two at PFL there and the UFC. Which, I like it when these promotions kind of jab at each other a little bit. It's fun. I think that was all from the press conference. Like I said, Rodtang and Takeru, both guys have signed their fight. Chatri said, if Takeru wins on Friday and Rodtang wins his next fight, 100% Rodtang and Takeru are fighting. They've agreed already. We have a date and a venue. We're just not announcing it yet, and we want to see the outcome. They've already signed bout agreements. They're ready to face each other, but I wouldn't count their chickens before they hatch. They've got some tough fights ahead. They're ready to go. They've both agreed to fight each other next. Yes. So that was that. I think that was all the news from the press conference. Talked a little bit about Russell Crowe. Yeah, this is interesting. The Russell Crowe movie says it's going to be shot in America, Australia, and Thailand. I was very impressed when I met the producers and their vision for the film. Hollywood blockbuster A-lister like Russell Crowe. This has all the makings of a massive global blockbuster hit. So we're very excited. They've been it's been a real partnership, I would say. We have input on the script just to make sure there's authenticity to the storyline as a fighter, but also the fight community and the authenticity of one. You'll see a lot of our superstars in the movie. You'll see some gym owners and promoters. I specifically asked for the final scene to be shot in Thailand. I'm doing everything in my power to bring Thailand to the world stage of sports and business and bringing Muay Thai and One to the world. So the fact a blockbuster A-grade Hollywood movie with an A-lister star is a dream come true for me, and I think for Thailand too. There you go. Some other, as I was saying earlier, this is all part of one plan to push Muay Thai out of the world. It's coming together. Russell Crowe and his team approached our team in One several months ago through all the discussions. Russell's writing the script. There was a very strong interest in One being part of the storyline. This is not just a cameo. Russell in the film is an ex-fighter turned coach in One. His student is an ex-fighter who used to be a world champion in One, and he's coming back because his brother got injured by an illegal blow in One. The whole movie is interwoven. Production begins on December 6th. Culminates at a January 24th event at Impact Arena, where they'll shoot a live sequence within the event. There it is. A lot of stuff there. And then on the top of that, another bit of news here, probably worth mentioning. It says we've booked Impact Arena for next year based on sponsors and advertisers. I asked him, why the move to Impact? So this Russell Crowe film will be filmed at Impact, but it's going to be a Friday fight show. So these quarterly tentpoles are all going to Impact Arena next year, and possibly more. If you listen to this, we've booked the Impact Arena for next year based on sponsors and advertisers who wanted more space to envelop their brand both on stage and in the arena, and obviously on the broadcast. That was a major driver. We heard from a lot of agencies and brands, but also, to be honest, the Friday fights tent poles have sold out so quickly. We're very confident we can sell out Impact Arena once a quarter now, just based on the demand we see. There's a lot of reasons. The initial reasons started as the brands and agencies wanted a grander stage. The typical one stage, the actual physical stage, that is. And then on top of it, we were selling out the tent poles. And I think it's a great way to showcase every quarter, 195 countries, Asia prime time Friday nights, as a differentialized product. That's how we are thinking. Nothing is rock solid in stone. It's a moving target. It may be a few shows, it may be 2 shows or 6 shows. It might be monthly shows out of Impact. We're not sure yet. We have plans for a minimum of 4, but I'd say that's a flexible number still. So it could be more. We could have a monthly Friday fights show at Impact Arena. That would be big. And if you're But what happens with fight nights then? Do you still run the fight night out of Lumpini, or do you do the fight night at Impact? If you've got the arena for those 2 days or whatever, are we going to see, like a double header Friday night show at Impact for Friday fights, and then a Saturday morning fight night show? Oh yeah. Well, either way, it sounds like a lot of things are happening. John Flower, in response to Rodtang, what's up, John? Superlek says Rodtang could not have won that fight with knockdown scored. Yes, exactly. It sort of automatically becomes a 10-8 round, doesn't it? So he'd have to have won the other 2 rounds, and then it would only be a draw. But there's no draw in the Muay Thai, so it would then go to scorecards, and presume Superlek would have got the win based on the knockdown. That would be the highest criteria they for Rodtang did crazy damage in the other 2 rounds that kind of outweighed the knockdown, but he didn't. He did cut Superlek open pretty badly on the forehead, though. Shimazu Takuma says also Superlek, busted open pretty hard. Probably would have got a stoppage soon enough from that fight. There was no way Doc Jimmy was gonna stop that fight. I think I could see Chatri yelling at him like, "Don't stop that fight! Don't stop that fight!" Yeah, I'm sure he had a look at it, but I know, they're not going to stop that fight unless it is serious cut. Shimazu, I'd love to see Jones against Anatoly somewhere, and Francis against Anatoly, but it's just not going to happen, is it, guys? Right, a lot of comments again. Has the Ridder been released? I don't know, John. Yeah, not sure what happened. Maybe Dana spoke about it. Dana was doing a Contender Series show today, so I'm sure one of the press over there asked, I hope they asked about the Ridder. Maybe he said something. Anyway, that is probably all I got time for. Yeah, I'm starving now. But there's 165 concurrents. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever had such a big audience for a podcast, really. Maybe back in the day when we used to run those fight companions for one championship, especially during an Ongla and Sang fight. But this is awesome. I'm really touched that so many people have tuned in and are watching. So maybe I can hang around for a little bit longer if you have some questions. Chummy Boy says, I love Lumpini's live vibe, but it's way too small. Impact makes more sense for this Friday, to be honest. It does. When you have a card like the one for this Friday, it's just, you got to go big with it. Yeah, get that production popping. I would love to see a Friday fights at just add that big stage in the production. I think it's gonna take it to the next level, and that'll be reflected in everything. Ticket sales, I'm sure TV ratings and sponsorships. I totally forgot about how Superbond versus Joe is only 3 rounds. NG says that honestly changes a lot. It might be Superbond before. I thought he would wane in the later rounds, but a 3-round fight changes it. Is it only 3? Wow, I didn't realize. I thought it was 5. Interesting. I guess it's not a title fight, is it? Yeah, that does change things. Superlek. Yeah. All right. I don't want to go too deep on Superlek and Rodtang because it was a year ago, but still seems to cause a lot of debate here. and divide. Superlek established dominance as soon as he turned it up. Superlek had a big weight advantage, though, in Anak says. Yes. All right. Superlek never going back to flyweight, Dark Side says. Congrats, Nick. Well deserved. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I think it's because I went on your show, guys, and your audience has come over to me. No, for real though. Like the last year or whatever, I've been doing the shows on the Sports Keto. We've had like 30 concurrents maybe on a good day. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just hit the sweet spot with the time. Yeah, but it's been a smash hit. So I'll be doing these shows in the morning going forward. I think maybe the timing works. Superlek is in the last round was the definition of a win is a win. Lots of clinch work. People say it's boring, but it's part of the fight game in Muay Thai. It's automatically a win if you get a knockdown in a 3-round, unless the other guy can return the favor. Yeah. So there's still so much debate about that fight. It shows, I think, how people are still interested in a rematch. Of course they are. What do you think about the news? The stars going to Atlanta, Rodtang and Tawanchai being shaky on when it comes to fighting. Prajanchai and DeBella would be a good sub. Yeah. If Rodtang is out and if Tawanchai is out, I'm going all in on bringing Prajanchai there to fight DeBella. I think if I'm one, because like I said earlier, I think you need a big Muay Thai title fight there. Don't just rely on the MMA. Learn the lessons of the Qatar card when the MMA title fights flopped a little bit. Reasons that we're out of hands, admittedly. When is the Japan event? I think it's going to be early next year. I would say January, February, something like that, March. I'm gutted it wasn't this week. Yeah, because I'm sure the weather in Japan right now is lovely. It's going to be cold as fuck in January, like it was last time. Have to wear those under layers. Yeah, it's pretty rare. I used to have to wear them in England. If I played football, I'd wear one of those base layer things in the winter. Obviously, don't really wear it in Hong Kong. There might be a couple of weeks a year in Hong Kong where it actually is cold, and you might pop on a base layer when you get into bed, because they don't have central heating here, obviously, because it's so hot normally, and the buildings are not really built for retaining heat. They want to let as much heat out as possible. So it does get really cold 2 or 3 weeks a year in December, maybe early January. But Japan was freezing, eh? Chummy Boy, as a fanboy, can we put Pet Gigi in Atlanta now? It will be fun for sure. Yeah, why not? It seems like she's resolved her issues with one and Venom. I do have an interview I need to put up with Kana as well, who is signed with one from Japan, and she wants Pet Gigi. So we will put that story out as well. Just so much happening. I just don't know if I got time for all of it. Oh, it's crazy. Got to fly to Bangkok as well tomorrow. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this job. 168 definitely gained one traction, and more people are interested. Fun time, says Fight. Well, proof in the pudding. Go look at Story of the Fights video from the show. They did a kind of vlog type thing. Video blog, recapping the whole time there. Popped pretty hard, like 6,000 views or something. So for this guys, it's a really fun video. Go watch it. I believe yours truly pops up in it. So that might be why, guys. No, I'm kidding. I love the content, Story of the Fight. If you don't follow these guys, go follow them now, like and subscribe. They are really nice people, really hard workers, really good at what they do as well. They have a great podcast. I'm going to try and jump on with them a bit more often, for one related recap shows if I can. And but they also cover everything else. So please check them out. Great dudes. Han Payak takes over in 2025, Darkside says. Nick needs help. Time to get the old fight companion crew back. I would love to have some of the old crew back. Yeah. Watch this space. I'm going to con it. this year has just been kind of about stabilizing and establishing my own path a bit. Yeah, and making it work. And now I think I know I can make it work, and I don't need to do this on the side and have a real job. And I think, yeah, we can kick on now and really make something special. So, yeah, I got plans. We'll see what happens in 2025. Plot Petrosian comes back. I'm not sure about that. It doesn't look in the best shape, and he's getting old. He seems to only want to fight in his own promotion, which is cool, by the way, to have a promotion named after you. But yeah, I don't think he really. If he comes back, does he beat Superbon? Does he beat Marat? Does he beat Chingiz? If Chingiz is still there, who knows? Maybe, but I'm not sure. Iron Vic. I can't believe any girl would call out Pet Gigi, basically suicide. Yeah, but trust me, Kana is adamant. She's like, I signed with one because I want to fight Pet Gigi. I want to fight Anissa Mex, and I want to fight Alicia Rose. Like a murderer's row. So she doesn't lack confidence for sure. This was a fun interview, guys. Yeah, I'll be putting that up today or tomorrow. Be a bunch of articles as well. She said some really cool stuff, comparing K1 to One Championship as well. I'm sure that's going to get people excited. Yeah, enjoy Bangkok. I will. It's come around very quickly from Denver. I would have liked a bit more time back home in Hong Kong, but that was my own fault because I stayed in America for another 10 days in New York. So yeah, there's no rest for the wicked. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here now. I'm starving, so I'll be back though tomorrow with some content. There'll be some stuff from the weigh-ins, I'm sure. Who knows? I might do a podcast if I have the time set up. I'll be in a hotel for the next 10 days in Thailand, or 2 hotels. We'll see. But yeah, One Friday Fights 81 coming up. Huge card. We haven't even touched on it, but I guess I have a very quick look at the page here. Go check out Story of the Fight, though. We did that big preview on Monday. I gave all of my thoughts on the big fights there. But yeah, Superbon and Joe, interesting. And Chatri said to me yesterday, like, the winner of this one is likely going to fight Tawanchai. So I don't know if that means Superbon slides into Atlanta if they do that. A lot at stake here. Keep your eyes on that. Nong-O and Cameron Nabati. Let's see if Nong-O still got it or if Nabati's going to put his lights out. I'm sure a lot of people will be cheering on Nong-O here, just like they were against Nico Carrillo. And a win for Nong-O is going to really propel him back into the title mix. Who knows? Nabil and Solin. Ooh, damn, man. I didn't know how following these. I should have known, given Ong La, but these Burmese guys have crazy following. I put up a couple videos of the from the press conference yesterday, the virtual press conference, and these Burmese fans are going nuts for it. They're all following me on the channel, liking and subscribing, which you all should do too. They're all commenting. Yeah, I've just jumped up like 1,000 subs in a day. Madness. I forgot the effect of successful Burmese fighters. Yeah. So Solinu against Nabil. Also Tanzin is Takeru, lower down the card. This isn't disrespectful to Takeru, by the way, guys. He is only in this slot on the card because of prime time in Japan. They want him on at the right time in Japan. Same with Hiroki Akimoto against Ilias Enahachi, which should be a killer fight as well. 2 former kickboxing champions in one going at it. I can't wait for that fight. That's the one I'm probably most interested in, actually. Intrigued by, at least. Surianlek, you know how good this guy is, and he's a knockout artist. And Jiao Suyai too. These two coming together. Just don't see a. Yeah. What's going on? Theory's talking to me. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the people. Jiao Suyai and Surianlek. Yeah, I don't see a decision here, guys. It's going to be someone's getting knocked out and someone's earning a contract, I think. Suakim and Otis Waghorn to be fun. Shadow, this is also a very interesting fight against Mohammed Siasarani. Good to see Siasarani back, and we all know what Shadow is capable of. Two big players in the featherweight division here, I believe. Both will be on the main roster soon if they are not. I don't even know if they are already. They should be if they're not. Sam A, former champ, legend, fighting Akram Hamidi. Let's see if Sam A can roll back the years, conjure up something special. Superlek, see how he responds to that bad knockout against Nabati here. He's fighting Kulab Dam, who is a knockout artist himself. Left meteorite. If that lands, it could be lights out for Superlek again. And if he beats Superlek, then I'm gonna riot if Kulab Dam doesn't get a goddamn contract. He deserves it, even though he loses to Nabil, and Nong-O. I think he still deserves a contract. Yeah, that's it. It's a huge card. What more can I say? You don't need me to hype it up for you guys. I know you're all gonna watch anyway, and we'll break it down on the weekend. Hopefully, I'll find some time to do a show. We can talk about it. Just tune in. I'll be bringing you updates from the weigh-ins tomorrow, like I was saying earlier. Ilias versus Akimoto is hard to pick. Wade says, I think Ilias Lineker wins his Muay Thai fight, then he fights Seksan. So excited. Nabil versus Lin's going to be a war. It will be. Yeah. Chummy Boy cheering on Nong-O. Yeah. Yeah, it's Wei Nang. You are late to the news. De Ridder has signed with the UFC. It is true. It is true. Just rewind and watch the rest of the show. But yeah, I gotta get out of here, guys. I'm starving. I didn't realize so many people be watching. I thought I'd be struggling to talk to nobody for half an hour here, but yeah, this has been awesome. I don't want to leave, but I might have to. I don't think Nabil has a chance against Solinu, and after this fight, I want to see Solinu versus Seksan. Yeah, Solinu's crew is out in full force here, it seems, on YouTube. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. Nabil, very difficult fight, though, to get past his range. We saw that with Lobo. Kulab Dam. He's quickly improving, as Wade says. Go have some food. Yeah. I've got to do more work as well. I have to write a bunch of stories. I've got to do some social stuff. I got to pack a bag because I'm flying 8 a.m. I need to get out of the house at about 5:30 tomorrow morning, which is going to suck. Yeah, Solinu against Seksan would be madness. Intrigued to see what they do with Seksan after Liam Harrison win. I'll be honest. Yeah, I thought Seksan was finished after that last fight. He suddenly looked a little slower, a step slower, but he handled Liam pretty easily. I thought Liam was going to win that fight. So it looks like there's life in the old dog yet with Seksan. And I think, yeah, one thing about Liam is I wonder whether the weight cut kind of took its toll on him there. He did look messed up for the weigh-in. And that he obviously was hitting that catch weight. This is Seksan's natural weight, the catch weight. Seksan doesn't really cut weight. He's always fighting the catch weight of 140, I think. But yes, he should call for big names weight. Chummy boys, Seksan will never pick a division. Is he still at 140 in the middle? Yeah, I think he's just happy to stay in the middle. He doesn't have to drain himself, does he? So I think that's why he's been so successful in one of the reasons. The winner of Nabil and Solinu is good for Seksan. Sure. I'm not in a rush if I'm one to kind of push Seksan too hard to go after a belt, like we're saying, or to he is what he is. He's this national treasure almost. He's just a special attraction for the fans to cheer on, and I would just give him beatable opponents. I wouldn't test him too much. We saw when he lost to the Japanese guy, I forgot the name, sorry. Yeah, it would just kind of took the air out of the arena, kind of killed the buzz a bit. I wouldn't put him against anyone too young or too hungry. I think Maybe he wants them though. Let him do what he wants. Yeah, let him do what he wants. Seksan versus Lineker, sending him into retirement. Yeah, I don't know. How far does Lineker go with the Muay Thai? I'm not sure. Let's see. Seksan versus Haggerty. Who knows? Protect Seksan, Smitty says. Yeah, I agree. He's a nice, humble guy. Yeah, he's cool. As NG says. So humble. Just ridiculously humble. I'm glad, like we were saying on Monday, this guy, or were we? I don't know who I was telling this to. This guy was selling fruit at a market a couple years ago, whatever it was, in 3 years in the pandemic. He just to make ends meet and feed his family. Now he's like earning so much money. He's donating money to help his village, building schools and stuff and projects. Like what a hero, what a nice guy. And that is the beauty of the system, the ecosystem created by this one Lumpini. It's just if you want, you can fight 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year. You can get a knockout, you get a bonus. You can make of it what you will. As Dana White says, it's an opportunity. It is. It really is an opportunity. And you see some of these guys they're taking off now. Anyway, I hate to leave. Yeah, I don't want to leave. I can stay for 10. If people want to chat, we'll stick around. But eventually, I've got to go. We're coming up on 2 hours of this madness. 1 hour 46 minutes madness. I think I'm out of things to say as well. Yeah, just all I can say is I am excited for this show on Friday. Tune in. One Friday Fights 81, guys. It's going to be a banger. Check back on my channel later today. There's going to be more stuff. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of content coming out on my Twitter. Check out Bangkok Post. The link is in my Twitter bio if you need it for all my Bangkok Post stories in my Instagram bio. We have a special vertical on Bangkok's Post sports section, all one championship. You can see all my articles there. If you ever need to get your daily fix in written form, you don't just want the video, you can go check that out there. You can see on the scrolling bar here, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm even on Threads. I don't really use Threads because I just don't understand it. But I'm there if you like Threads. It's just basically automatically posts all my Instagram stuff there. So nothing really Threads specific. But if you want some specific content, I try and mix things up a bit on my Twitter, but my YouTube as well. I try to post more on the community page. So give those things a like. Interact with it. I try and answer comments if you have them. Yeah, just overall, we're about to step things up. I've been waiting for this moment for the whole year, to get things rolling with Bangkok Post. And now I've got Sportskeeda as well. I've got 2 outlets. I'll be putting out a lot of cool content, and I'm building myself up as well. Like, this is the time now I can finally dedicate time to my own channel here. So hopefully you will see the fruits of the labor, and you will enjoy these shows. I plan on doing more of them, especially in the morning. It's just hits. You can do it again whenever. Probably going to be difficult in Bangkok, given everything. But yeah, I would love to be in a place when I'm here at home to smash out some shows every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. We can do 3 shows a week, 3, 4, whatever. Who knows? There's so much to talk about though this day. So there has been plenty of things to discuss. Some days there is harder to come up with ideas for shows, but it's so great when you have people in the chat all commenting. You do my job for me. I don't even have to talk. I just respond. Hira Sen, if you dig deep into the Tanzin background, it's very sad and interesting. Well, I don't know. Yeah, enlighten me, please. Love to hear about it. Shimazu Takuma says, if you do more concurrent lives on Twitch and YouTube, we will be there. Yeah, Twitch. I have no idea about. Do you want me to? I used to kind of have a de facto Twitch thing we were running on our old podcasts when I was doing the SCMP stuff, but we would get like 2 viewers on there, maybe 3 max. So if you think it's worth it, I'll do it. What do you think's next for Jojo? Indy says, it shouldn't be Dennis Purish for sure. It probably shouldn't be Freddie Haggerty. I think just keep doing what he's doing. He's 17. Yeah, give him some guys that he can beat, knock out, get bonuses, look good, and build him up. He's still got to work on all that stuff. Seksan versus Jojo. I don't know about that. I think Myanmar's translator is doing his job really terribly. So can you tell one to change? I'll see what happens. Maybe we get Ongla to translate. Who knows? Wade, can you edit your videos with only English translations? Is this maybe it's the press conference ones? Yeah, I just kind of smashed them out last night because there were so many. I didn't really have time to edit them, so apologies. Normally, I try and just I'll edit out the questions that are asked just so it's like the answer from the fighter, then the English translation. But because I have so much work in terms of writing, social, and videos, I tend to like do the bare minimum production wise on my videos. Sorry guys, like I wish I could dedicate more time to my YouTube efforts, and give you top notch production. But reality is I've just got no time. Maybe one day if I'm successful and rich, I can pay someone to do that for me. But we'll see. Yeah, it does take 3 times as long. I'm sorry. Just maybe Wade, you could skip a little bit when the translator's talking. I'm sorry. I know it sucks. I'll try and be a bit better with it. Just not enough hours in the day sometimes, especially after a big press conference like that. You just got to get the stuff out. Yeah, I know. I'll do it. With my Kana video, I've edited that slightly better, so it's less time consuming. But yeah, maybe the people, the Japanese people, the Thai people want to hear the translation. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it. So NG was the translator in Denver. If you didn't know, watch the show back. Some fun stuff with Seksan and Superlek in the ring, in the cage. Great stuff. And he did my Superlek interview after the show as well. So hopefully for his sake, we're gonna have some big Thai fights on there, so he can go and translate. Submission does a good job editing translation. Is that Submission Radio or I'm not sure. But yeah. Shavkat. I'll have a look. Yeah, some people kind of put the English voice over the fighter when they're speaking. I could try that. I'm very basic with my editing skills. Yeah. Did a great job in Denver, NG. Epic night, Smitty says. He did. Showed out for sure. Joe watched those post-fight interviews in the cage. Yeah, English voice. Okay, the English voice while the fighter's speaking on low volume. I'll try my best. It's fine if I don't have much other stuff on, and I've got like one interview to focus on. I can do it. If there's like 5 or 6 I've got to get out, it's just I guess I had to write 3 articles. They had to put these social graphics together. I had to sit on that press conference for 3 hours as well before that, 3.5 hours. Then I had to edit 5 or 6 of those videos. Yeah, it just wasn't enough time. I had to sleep as well. And I knew I'd have this podcast in the morning, so I wanted to get those out of the way. I just hate having stuff on my plate or whatever you want to call it. Like, it is difficult, but yes, as Wade says, it will help grow your channel. Yeah, let's see. I'll try and be better. I'm pretty slapdash with the video editing. Yeah, I was confused why they had Frank read out the questions, but had someone else answer what the fighters said during the interview. It was a little strange, yes. I thought Frank was just going to translate both. But Frank did a great job as well, just as the host of the show. I thought he was amazing. I love Frank. I'll be catching up with Frank this weekend for sure. He's an interesting guy. We hung out after the last Bangkok show. He's really, really interesting dude. And I love his translation as well. So I said to Engie, to Pepper, I was like, Frank's got some competition now. Yeah. Both guys killing it. Great to see. There it is. Dude, I don't know if you can have more on your plate. Yeah, I don't know. You've seen me in Denver. It's non-stop, isn't it? In a big fight week. But I love it. Tell Frankie has a lot of US fans. I will. I think he knows. Frank's got a very interesting story. Maybe one day he'll tell it to the world. It's not my place to tell it, but it's a cool dude. Self-made man, Anyway, yeah, we're coming up on that 2 hours. I cannot go longer than that. So I'm gonna politely end it here. You can see all of my handles on the bottom ticker. If you need to follow me, I'm sure a bunch of you already do, and if you do, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, one final tale from NG. Frank reached out to me, and the dude is the best. He said he would make some content vouching for me to be in America, since lots of people were mad he wasn't there in Denver. What a nice guy. Yeah. See, Frank, he could have been all jealous and envious, but that would have been my natural reaction, But he's genuinely a lovely guy. He wants everyone to succeed. Let's get him on the show again. I really enjoyed the show we had with Frank. If you haven't seen it, go check that out on the Sports Key to MMA Originals YouTube. But yeah, since I'm on this channel now, let's get Frank on here. Anyway, the time has come, sadly, to go, to leave you all. This has been a really fun couple hours. Thanks for sticking with me and watching the whole thing. I've incredibly honored you find it interesting enough to hang out with me for so long and talk. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll be back. There's so much stuff coming the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. We got 2 big events. One Friday Fights 81 stack cards. Obviously going to be a lot of talking points there before and after weigh-ins tomorrow, so there's always some drama there. Then we got Fight Night 25 coming up. I'll do a proper preview of that next week. But Reggie Erstl, Alexei Nicholas rematch main event should be fun. Some fun fighters on there. Kong Torani is back against Tagir Khalilov. Bokang Masinyane is back. Mansour Malykhin. I like these guys. Sinsa McClinby against Youssef Asuik. That's a fun fight. Youssef comes in with a big rep. Ayaka Miura, Jihin Radzuan. Also a good, fun fight. Yeah, why don't I just share that on the screen? Tung Poon and Rui Botello. That's cool. Strawweight Muay Thai. Daniel Williams, Banmar Duoji. Amy Perney's back. She was incredible in her debut against Yao. She's fighting Shia Cohen. Also had a great debut. This card is sneaky fun actually. I was a little bit thinking, it's going to be a bit light, but it's lacking in those big headline names perhaps, but it's got really interesting, intriguing matchups with a lot of fighters I like. I'm kind of hyped now, just having briefly looked at that. Okay. That's it. I'm out of here. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Appreciate all the love.